Hey everyone, welcome to my channel as a married man. Thanks for tuning in and checking it out. I appreciate it. Here we talk about love, life, relationships, and more, all from the perspective of a married man. Please, if you will, smash that like button and hit that subscribe. It'll totally help me out, everyone. All right. So today's video is asking the question, why are men quitting relationships? And I'm reviewing an article that was published in The Guardian, and it is titled, Why Have Men Fallen Out of Love with Romantic Relationships? This article was written by Arwa Mahdawi. Appreciate if I mispronounced your name. Arwa Mahdawi. So I just wanted to give a shout out to the author herself and to the source of the article. And if you're interested in reading this article yourself, I will post a link in the bio for you. All right, so the article starts out by asking, why are so many young men single? Sex. So the article says, sex is going out of fashion. There's an actual link here to another article by Scientific American on the subject, talking about how, people are having less sex, whether they're teenagers or 40-somethings. I guess that explains my wife. Uh, don't tell her I said that. All right. All right. Anyways, the article just states that this no sex having phenomenon is widely blamed on technology and possibly online porn as a small part to play. But it's not just sex, though. Young men in the US appear to have fallen out of love with romantic relationships. And there's another study here by the Pew Research that found that 63% of men under the age of 30 describe themselves single, and compare that with 34% of women in the same age. Wow, like that's insane. Um, my MGTOW red pill brethren would be cracking jokes about men going their own way and feminism and whatnot right about now. Just hearing those statistics. Um, but this isn't just among heterosexuals. This is also includes those who identify as LGB, which stands for lesbian, gay, and bisexual. And apparently this group have pretty similar statistics. 62% of men and 37% of women um, seem to be affected. Just lack of sex all around, apparently, amongst straight and gay men and women. But well, look at me throwing statistics at you all. Um, Speaking of which, so this Pew study I mentioned, apparently it went viral because the numbers seem off. Like most young men are single, but most women are not. So, like, who are the women dating exactly? Um, so remember that question, everyone. The MGTOW red pill, like men's relationship channels, blogs, and podcasts, like the manosphere, if you will. They believe they have this figured out, and like, you know what, they might be right, but yeah, I'll get back to that in a minute. Like, this article, it actually points it out. It points it out like directly after the next paragraph here. It states the popular theory is that like young women are more than likely dating older men. Um, If you're familiar with the term monkey branching, more specifically the term hypergamy, you'll hear that tossed around like crazy in the manosphere there. You know what? I actually looked up the term female hypergamy. I'm sorry, hypergamy. And the definition I got was, quote, the propensity of individuals to form unions in which the woman is of lower status than a man. So that speaks volumes right there. Like women do date up. Women do try to monkey branch to a man of higher status, and they do seek out men of higher status. Um, like men, on the other hand, don't seem to really care. But like moving onwards, the author herself, she does state another, as she calls it, a an overblown theory, which is the gay agenda. That the gay agenda is working, and considering that 1/5 of Gen Z identify as queer, um, the author suggests that maybe all the young women are dating each other. Yeah, personally, I have no comment on that. The author goes on to say, like, well, maybe there's some confusion due to gender differences, possibly in how people define a committed relationship. Um, that's kind of grasping at straws, in my opinion, but that's what she has to say about that. Maybe there's just people don't know how to define a relationship, or maybe they're just all the women are dating each other. I don't know yet, but let's continue. Um, the next paragraph, um, while we may not, while we may never solve the mystery behind the relationship gap, there has been a lot of, quote, hand-wringing, mainly from conservative circles, the manosphere, who take it as evidence that feminism and the modern world has emasculated young men. Seth Dillon, the founder of the conservative satire site Babylon Bee, actually tweeted, and I'll quote, young young women are dating each other or older men in record numbers. As a result, 60% of young men are single and lonely. It's probably hard to overstate how serious this problem is. End quote. Ouch. Yeah. He isn't wrong, you know. I'll give my 2 cents coming up here in a second, but except drives home a truth bomb right there. Um, yeah, women are either dating each other or they're dating older men. What was it? 34% remember everybody. 34% of women describe themselves as single. So, I mean, it's over 70, or what is it, 60 something percent are in committed relationships. Just remember that. All right. But the author, she then goes on to ask, like, is this true though? Like, she isn't denying that there's a serious and worrying epidemic about loneliness, but you don't need to be in a relationship to be happy. She says, um, I think that rather than focusing on young men being single, the real problem is the fact that men don't have friends. Um, so apparently, only 21% of men say they receive emotional support from a friend in the past week, compared to 41% of women. Um, a little further on, there's a quote here from a senior fellow and an author named Richard Reeves, who explains, quote, men are less naturally relational than women, end quote. And yeah, that pretty much seems to sum up the whole issue, right? The author states, like, doesn't it? Men aren't naturally stoic. Like, they're just taught from a young age that feelings and emotions are for girls. Um, like they're taught to lock out their feelings, taught not to put as much value in relationships. They're taught that they're less naturally relational. Um, but to end now, to end this article, the author states, once again, a quote, um, and then people sit around wondering why young men aren't in relationships and are so lonely. It's not porn that's a problem. It's patriarchy, end quote. Wait, wait, what? That's literally how she ends the article here. She blames the problem on the patriarchy. This whole issue of why young guys are walking away from love and romantic relationships is because of men and a male dominated society. Wow, wow, is all I can say. So, like, as a married man, like, what are my thoughts on this issue? Well, the article it starts by citing source. It cites a lot of sources, by the way. If you're interested, if you're really interested in this topic, the author does a good job in citing quite a lot of sources for all the things she happens to mention within the article. She backs it all up with peer-reviewed evidence, which is kind of nice. But the article does cite a source that mentions the amount of sex people are having is down, both men and women, and that those that are 30 and under, 63% of men describe themselves as single compared to, as I was saying earlier, 34% of women in the same age group. The author then asks, what's up with this discrepancy? It is pretty big, 63% of men versus 34% of women in relationships. Like, the numbers don't add up. Like, who are these women dating? The author then mentions the theory that they are dating older men, or like they're dating each other apparently. Um, as a married man, um, happens to have his finger on the pulse of the manosphere. Yeah, I will say that, yeah, women are dating up. Like, they are dating older men. That's there's no doubt and question about that. But I dig this. Let me walk you through this real quick, everyone. Um, Young guys are walking away. Like, that's a fact. They These guys are going MGTOW, like they're taking the red pill, so to speak. It's a fact. Statistical proof. That whole 63% right there. These are guys they're turning to focus on their grind, their purpose, as it's called in the manosphere. Guys that are working on their purpose, their careers, their health, their fitness. Um, they're trying to be the best version of themselves that they can be. At least most of them. There's the incel community. It's small. It's an extremist little fringe out there, but it does exist. These incels, but majority of guys that are part of that 63% club are turning MGTOW. Like, they're just quitting the dating game. And these are the guys that once these once these red pill dudes, once they turn 30 or older, at this point of their lives, they're more mature, they're financially stable, they're often they've taken care of themselves as far as fitness and financials and all of that, and that's great. Um, but it's at this point in their lives you have to understand that's when they turn their attention to women. Like the eye of Sauron, it turns, and that's when their gaze turns to actually start taking women seriously. Um, and that's when they kind of enter the dating game on their own terms. And you remember that statistic? About 34% of older women, like, these are the guys who are dating these women. Um, it's the whole Leonardo DiCaprio syndrome. Like, all older men do date older women. They prefer. Did I say older women? I meant younger women. Older men date younger women. They prefer younger women. Like the Leonardo DiCaprio syndrome right here, everybody. Like, it's if you don't know what that is, this Leo meme, dude won't date anyone older than 25, apparently. Once this unlucky supermodel that he's with, when she turns 25, he eats her off the super yacht, so to speak. And he's back in the dating game with a younger, newer, fresher model. Right? That's the meme, anyways. My man Leonardo DiCaprio there. Um, but as far as women dating women, yeah, as a as a married man, yeah, as a manosphere dweller, I don't hear any red pill um men's relationship giving YouTuber. I don't hear anyone ever lament the fact that there's a lack of women because they dating each other like that. I don't know how relevant intersex relationships are as far as affecting men and their ability to find women. I don't know how much that intersex dating actually affects. I don't think it's as much as they're playing it up to be personally as a married man, but just to finish up my previous comment real quick about I was mentioning young women dating up. Like, hell yeah, they are. I mentioned the term monkey branching earlier. I mentioned the term hypergamy. Like, women want men who are successful. Like, they want men who are stable. They want men who have their stuff together. And I'm sure that you've heard women talk about the sixes. Um, I know I have. What are the sixes? Well, women want a guy who's at least 6 feet tall, who makes at least six figures. They want a man who has a six pack. They want a man who has a 6 inch wang, you know? It might sound laughable, but it's true. Women have this unset set of expectations and what they want in a man, and it's these sixes. Like, it's always funny. I've read so many memes of like a 4'11", a 5'1" little short woman who's talking about, what I'm only gonna date a man who's 6'3" or 6'5", and it's like, are you serious? But unfortunately, like, hypergamy is a real thing. Like, while men go their own way, while they take the red pill, while they abandon the dating scene, like, what are women under 30 doing? Like, you have to ask. Uh, there's a sad explanation. They're riding the carousel. Like, when I say that, you'll hear women talk about their exploring themselves, or they're trying to find themselves, or they're experimenting with their sexuality or something like that. You'll hear women give all sorts of excuses. "Oh, I was just trying to find myself in college." No, that's hoe speak for you were bedding down with any guy that would buy you a drink. You know what? I'm sorry. That's just as a married man, I'm just gonna be real here. Like guys know it. Uh, Women know it. Like, if a woman tells me like, "Oh, when I was in college, yeah, I spent a lot of my time trying to find myself," it's like, "Oh, oh, okay then." You just what you just said just spoke volumes about yourself. You don't even have to go any further. But like, come on now, like women in their 20s, in their women in their youth nowadays, they're hoeing out. They're sport fucking. It's just how it is. It's a sad reality. They're hoeing their way through their most youthful, fertile years, and then bam, the wall hits them. They wake up, they're 30 years old, and all of a sudden they're all confused, like, where are all the good guys? Where are all the good guys? Like, how many times have you heard that? And women's articles are just from women in general lamenting about the dating scene. Where are all the good men? It's like, where were you in your 20s? Insert the empty egg carton meme right there. But these women, they wake up, they're surprised all of a sudden that guys only want them for a night's pleasure. But well, sorry to rant, everyone. Sorry to that long-winded explanation, but what really floored me about this article was how the author, a woman, she ended the article by explicitly quoting a guy named Seth Dillon, as I said earlier. And let me just requote what he said in that tweet. He said, "A young women are dating each other or older men in record numbers. As a result, 60% of young men are single and lonely." Um, like, then she goes on to state how men are taught to repress their feelings and emotions. She goes on about how men are taught to be stoic and, we naturally aren't. And like she literally ends the article saying like, "Oh, what is to blame? Not women. Like, not the carousel, mind you. Like, it's not pornography. It's the problem men are abandoning relationships is well, it's the patriarchy. It's like, wait, what? The patriarchy, like, this male dominated society that we live in, it's causing men to abandon women. Well, okay, if you say so. That as a married man, like, that blows me away. Yeah, I've said before, like, in every video almost, like, I'm not MGTOW. Like, I share some similar beliefs with these dudes, these red pill manospheric dwelling basement dwellers. Like MTOW and I have some of the same beliefs, but I'm not MTOW by any means. I'm definitely not an feminist. You ask me, have you taken the red pill or have you taken the blue pill? I'm neither. Like, I'm my own. I'm. I don't know what the hell pill color I am, but I'm in between. Um, Yeah, I'm the guy that's on the 50-yard line, so to speak. I'm watching two teams. I'm watching men on one side of the field and women on the other side of the field, beer in hand, and I'm watching them go against each other and the dating game here and the game of love and relationships and life. I'm watching them play against each other. I'm not liking what I see either. Like I see guys walking off the field. I see women hoeing their youth away, and doing so with guys older than them. I see relationships, I see love and marriage. I see it all dying in utero, you know? It's never even had the chance to exist. And that's sad. Like, but is the problem with patriarchy? Hell no. Like, MGTOW is a result of feminism, feminist women, and an feminist man-hating climate is what creates MGTOW men. It's what created MGTOW to start with. Like, feminism started back in the 60s, and it's been getting worse from there. You'll notice from the 60s onwards, that's when you start seeing that decline in marriage, in the breakdown of the family unit. Well, you'll see, like, it's all gone downhill ever since the advent of feminism. Like, I've said it before, it's done more damage to women, to men, to human beings in general. Feminism has done more damage than the Black Plague could ever have imagined. Like, that's how destructive it's been, and we're seeing the results of it every day in this article. Um, like, these dudes, like, they've come to understand that it's better just to focus on yourself, not love. Like, just be the best version of yourself you can be, and then date, and then hook up. And yeah, sadly, a lot of these dudes who did take the red pill, often they just want sex, and women give it away. They give it away so freely nowadays, and it's it's almost like it's all they have, you know? It's all they have to give. Like, they have their youth, they have their beauty, they have their sex, uh, their bodies. It's all they have to give to men, it seems. And guys know that. Like, guys aren't stupid. Men know better. Men have adapted and they've learned. And they've come to understand, like, why buy the cow when the milk is free, if you dig it. And as a married man, that it's extremely sad. Like, it's depressing to see men leaving relationships, and then of course women in the 30s desperate for relationships. Women having to date down because it's all they could find. Men and women, like, men dating down because they got pick of the litter, so to speak. Like, who wants a used up woman in her 30s when you can have a nice, fresh, youthful, vibrant, fertile woman in her 20s? Men date down, women date. Well, after they're 30, they take what they can get. Welcome to modern relationships, everybody. And meanwhile, the ideals that, as a married man, that the ideals I try to build up and promote, like, marriage, children, families. Yeah, I'm alive to see those all. They're all dying a slow death, unfortunately. Like, just look at Western birth rates in the U.S. and can't, like, not just in the U.S. Every white Western country seems to be not even white Western. My apologies. Every first world Western country, like, look at Japan, Korea, um, the US. Oh my God, like, yeah, I could name a dozen, a dozen, a dozen Eastern European countries, that have not promoted um, traditional values, that are dying a slow death, due to just rates of fertility. And it's here we have, like, feminism to blame, you know? Feminism created MTOW, and it created a generation of MTA carton women. It created Tinder, the hookup culture, and what the hell was the name of this article? It created young men falling out of love with romantic relationships, like period. But like, what do you guys have to say? Like, who's to blame here? Like, whose team whose team are you guys on? Men or women or MTOW or Feminism? Like, who's to blame? Like, what's the cataclysm that started this chain of events? Like, let me know, everyone. Like, I'm genuinely interested to know. Like, leave me a comment. Of course, give me smash that like button and for the love of God, everyone, sub to my channel. I need to make 15.1 million subs. I've only got 9. I vowed to beat Hannah Nealman, my ballerina farms in my last video. I heard she had 15 million subs. It's like, well, I gotta have 15.1 million. And yeah, I'm a few million short at the moment. So you hook me up, everybody. Give me that sub. Totally. I appreciate you all. But yeah, on top of that, if you have an idea for a video, or if you want to just send me a death threat, my email is as a married man at outlook.com. Actually, I got my first Nigerian scam email yesterday, and I was pretty stoked reading through that. The heiress of a diamond mine, who's in Sierra Leone. Her millions of blood diamond money is tied up in a bank, and if I help her out, she'll give me 30% of the what whatever the hell that email goes. Anyways, guys, I appreciate you all. Thanks if you're still here. If you're my wife and my only actual listener, please make that broccoli cheddar tonight. I love it. But anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.